Yo, what's going on, guys? So, I wanted to make a video real quick because with everything going on, I feel like it is important that I mention something that I've never actually mentioned on this channel before, which is the importance of thinking for yourself in all situations. And the reason why this is important is because we live in a society and a world where paradigms and thoughts are constantly bombarded on us in every way, which form, however the heck you say that. You are always going to have governmental bodies telling you how and what to think. You are always going to have celebrities telling you how and what to think. You're always going to have influencers telling you how and what to think. This video is honestly no different in terms of me giving you an opinion in terms of a way that you should be thinking. But the only difference with this video is that I'm saying you should be thinking for yourself. Rational critical thought. It is a way of being that not a lot of people do. And it's because we tend to look up to these sources of authority. And we assume that whatever they say must be right because they are in that position of authority. It's one of the cognitive biases. I forget the name of it, but it's one of the reasons why me as a business owner, me as a marketer, I choose to partner up with YouTubers, because a YouTuber is going to have a larger degree of influence over people in order to be able to sell to those people, because they look up to that person for whatever their realm of expertise is in. But when someone is just famous just for the sake of being famous, they will use that in order to try and push certain paradigms, push certain thought forms. Sometimes those things are right. Sometimes those things may resonate with you. But what I notice happening a lot around me, what I notice happening just so often around the world, is people just take information and thoughts and opinions at face value. And because somebody in a position of power or authority is saying it, they immediately take it as truth and they adopt that belief as their own, and then they become a parrot. They start to regurgitate whatever belief it is that was. What I would like to make the suggestion that you do instead is you begin to think critically, and you begin to think for yourself. So, how do you do that? It basically means you just begin to question everything. When someone tells you something, instead of you just saying, yeah, that makes sense, or nah, that can never make sense, because you have to keep in mind there's a few other cognitive biases at work here. There is confirmation bias, which basically means that as humans, we will go ahead, if we believe something, we will go out of our way to make sure that we find more information that proves whatever thought that is to be true. And you'll notice you'll do that with Google searches and stuff like that. You won't look up the opposing view. You'll only look up your personal view on Google. You'll only follow people on Instagram who hold your exact belief. You'll never look at the other side. That is called confirmation bias. That is a trap. That means you are not thinking for yourself. You have bought totally into an ideology, and you've succumbed to it. There's no critical analysis there anymore. There was one other cognitive bias that is slipping my mind at the moment, but basically, that is the main thing. But the other thing, maybe I just don't have the word for it. But the other thing that people do is when presented with the opposing view, it's almost like you have like blinders to it. You don't see it. You don't want to hear it. If someone brings it up, you immediately just shrug it off. That's impossible, which makes it impossible to have a very thorough, well thought out discussion about that topic. Or it makes it difficult for you as a person to be able to research both sides in order for you to come to your own understanding of whatever it is that you are trying to learn. People do it with the law of attraction all the time. They just assume that it's fake because it is not totally accepted by the mainstream science community. But there are others, and there are studies that prove this to be true. You have to be the person looking at both sides in order to see, well, what is the truth? You have to be able to come to that truth. Because believe it or not, there are forces out there whose sole goal is to hide the truth. Their goal is deception. Their goal may be division. I don't know. But the point of this is that it is up to all of us, all humans, to be able to be capable of critical thought, critical analysis. Think for yourself. Do not allow anyone, anything, any person, any media to tell you what to think. Whenever you get any sort of information in, if it resonates for you, say, okay, let me look this up. Let me do some research. And when you're doing that research, whatever you're reading, in the back of your mind, always be thinking, is this source biased in any way? Am I being biased about this in any way? If the answer is yes to either one of those questions, the best thing you can do is immediately research the other side. I believe if you do that, you'll find that you have a much easier and better time coming to the truth in terms of whatever topic it is. You may not actually be able to uncover the exact truth of whatever it is that you're trying to look up, or maybe you do. Maybe you end up coming to some sort of ideology for yourself that makes you happier, and you know that at that point you know in your heart that you actually did your due diligence. You're not flying blind. You know what that's called? It's called ignorance. The last thing you want to be is ignorant. And smart people are always capable of finding and noticing the ignorant. Because ignorant, dumb people are those that claim to know it all. If you tell them something on any sort of opposing argument, if you give them any sort of opposing argument, they will immediately shut it down because they know everything. There's a phrase, I will end this video with this. There's a saying that goes, the smartest man in the world knows that he knows nothing. The more that you learn, the more that you will learn that you really don't know anything. We are small specks in the universe, floating around on a ball, and none of us know why we're here. There's a lot of people with a lot of assumptions, and a lot of people claim that they have it all figured out. They know exactly why we're here. They know exactly why we're on this planet. They know for a fact there's no other life on any other planets. They know exactly why we incarnated at this exact time. They know for a fact. But do they? Peace out, y'all.